What it do, what it do, what it do. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, comment to my YouTube channel. Most definitely hit the bell icon. That's a notification bell that'll alert you. All content that will drop to my YouTube channel that will hit your devices. Also, make sure you hit the thumbs up, the AKA the like button. YouTube appreciate that. S.L.R Media TV will appreciate that. Also hit the subscribe button. All three helps my channel grow, helps me get more new viewers, more new subscribers, to pushes my channel further to the YouTube galaxy to get noticed. So it's very important that you hit all three. Make sure you hit the notification bell, the bell icon, the thumbs up, the like button, hit the subscribe button. All three helps my channel grow, get more subscribers and more new viewers. Also, go support my second YouTube channel, S.L.R Sports News TV. All great content over there. Once again, make sure you hit the bell icon, the thumbs up, and the like button. All three helps both of my channels grow, pushes my channel further to the YouTube galaxy. Also, if you like the content, hit the Cash App. All information is picked at the bottom of the ticker, $, all caps, SRED 40. All proceeds go to the channel. And once again, it's all about support. Give what you can give. Shout out to my subscribers. Shout out to my future subscribers. You see the title. We back. We're back. It's Diddy. Hold up, P. Diddy. Say what? D-I-D-D-Y-P-I is Diddy. Will Diddy beat the race? Will Diddy be doing this, beating the cases? And will Diddy be doing this to the feds? It's what we want to know. Will Diddy beat the case? I'm going to just be straight up with you. He's going to beat the case. The only thing that's pending him is the Cassie shit. That's it. Everything else is really irrelevant. Only thing the feds is trying to do, prove him guilty in the public eye to make their case more easier when they really don't have a case. That's all it is to it. But we're going to get into it. We're going to break it down, repackage it up. And as I say again, it's a lot of shit going on. Everybody's bringing up Jay-Z, Beyonce. What about Dame Dash and Aaliyah? We're going to bring it on. We're going to mix it in today. It's a good one today. Once again, we are the channel for the surviving P. Diddy. It's what it is. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, comment to my YouTube channel. Let's get into it. Let's get into the content. Let's go.
You got to be a unifier. You got to be a leader. Don't be in there and be a fucking complainer. Who's leading? Because all I'm talking about is the way you get to championships. I don't know what else anybody else is talking about. And ain't nobody got more rings than me. It's 2020, y'all. And it's different than when it was 2016. You know, the game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black billionaire's lunch. You understand?
Right.
And we here together, and we're going to keep staying together. We getting tighter. You know what I'm saying? And united we stand. And ain't nothing else to us. Black excellence.
Kids have like an hour left. So get extra comfortable, kids, because after that, y'all gotta go. It's a wrap for y'all, because this thing turns into something that when y'all get older, y'all don't want to come to. Okay? So, you know, let's just start to get our groove on a little bit. In an hour, we put the kids away. It's all good. All right, DJ, let's hit it. Let's do it. Come on. Okay, now.
Child, you see how Diddy is talking about putting the kids away and the real party begins after that? Word on the street is that most of the time, Beyonce and Jay-Z were left behind for the real party, if you know what I mean.
Beyonce, I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people he had put them out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there. Me and, you know, maybe about 15 others, you know.
Right.
Jay-Z and Beyonce being, you know, two of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put it into perspective of the type of company I was in.
Right.
Guess what? Queen Bee was allegedly also in those tapes that were recovered in Diddy's mansions. But hold on, there's more to this Beyonce story. So Jay-Z was allegedly spotted meeting up with a criminal attorney and a divorce attorney. Now, the criminal attorney may be because he has possibly been implicated in the crimes that Diddy is being charged with. And the divorce attorney, well, honey, it looks like y'all were right once again. Jay-Z and Beyonce are allegedly heading for a divorce, baby. And Nicki Minaj is also out here doing what other celebrities are afraid of doing and calling out Jay-Z for being involved with Diddy. We are going to be needing a fan right now, because even I can't stand all this heat. Okay, one thing I know is that Jay-Z has been doing his best to avoid Diddy since the lawsuits started trickling in. I mean, he even canceled his Grammy brunch party because of Diddy, because he did not know how to uninvite Diddy to the party, and because he couldn't just tell it to his face, and decided to cancel the party. Well, now people are saying that there's no way Beyonce and her husband could be close friends with someone for 2 decades, be business partners, attend their parties, know their family, have countless business ties, vacation together multiple times, knowing all their kids, and not be complicit or at least mildly aware of their illegal extracurricular activities. Are Beyonce and Jay-Z staying silent about Diddy because everyone knows they're too close and knee-deep with him to pretend they don't know about his other illegal actions? Did they participate in illegal extracurricular activities with Diddy? Well, insiders have been saying that Diddy has no intention of going down alone, and he has allegedly started snitching. And based on reports, the next person we expect to follow suit is Jay-Z. What I know is that even before Diddy's cases were made public, there were interviews behind the scenes for about a year. And the things that were made public were not even half of what happened. In Cassie's case particularly, Jay-Z and Beyonce were allegedly mentioned in the original lawsuit. The thing is, Cassie's lawsuit was initially 60 pages, but it was narrowed down to 35 pages. And if we already find the things in the 35 pages horrific, imagine what else was in there that had to be edited out. Clearly what they edited out was worse than what was left in the lawsuit. And apparently in the lawsuit, Cassie also mentioned Jay-Z and Beyonce by talking about something that went down at one of Diddy's parties. Reportedly, what happened at the party was that after Beyonce and Jay-Z witnessed Diddy strike Cassie across the face, Cassie fled upstairs and locked herself in one of the bedrooms. Then Diddy's security tracked her down, and Cassie took 30 minutes or more to get herself together. Then once Cassie was on her way returning to the party, Beyonce and Jessica Alba were waiting in the foyer of the house to check on her. Cassie said that Beyonce was visibly upset, and as Diddy and Jay were walking towards them, Beyonce blew a gasket and screamed at Diddy, telling him that what he did was highly offensive and unacceptable. Apparently, Diddy got on his knees and apologized to Cassie, Beyonce, and Jessica. Based on reports, Beyonce was super mad at Jay-Z, and she asked him why he was comforting Diddy instead of checking him. And she reportedly even told Jay that she was starting to lose respect for him. Then after that incident, Beyonce Beyonce, Cassie, Jessica, and about 20 to 25 people left the party after witnessing what happened or hearing about it. Apparently, allegedly, Cassie left with Jessica and her people because she knew that if she left with Beyonce, Diddy would track her down because of the connections he had with Jay-Z. Cassie was also contacted the next day by law enforcement after the cops showed up to the house the same night after neighbors called and reported that there was chaos in the neighborhood. Someone from the party had called the police anonymously and reported what happened because Diddy was allegedly questioned about laying his hands on Cassie, but he denied everything and Cassie refused to cooperate or corroborate what was reported. Now, this particular party may not have been a freak-off party, but I have seen threads saying that most of the freak-off parties took place after the public parties, and Diddy himself suggested this in this video that has been making rounds.
Kids have like an hour left. So get extra comfortable, kids, because after that, y'all gotta go. It's a wrap for y'all, because this thing turns into something that when y'all get older, y'all don't want to come to. Okay? So, you know, let's just start to get our groove on a little bit. Then an hour, we put the kids away. It's all good. Hey, DJ, let's hit it. Let's do it. Come on. Okay, now.
The only reason why Beyonce left early was because she had witnessed what had happened to Cassie and she was upset. But sources have reported that she was also invited to other freak-offs with Jay-Z, and they are allegedly both on the tapes that were recovered. But you know what? Jay-Z reportedly has so much more to worry about other than being in the tapes, because he is reportedly also being questioned about his That is why he was meeting up with the criminal lawyer. And one of the crimes is the Kathy White incident that Diddy has allegedly already snitched on. Now, of course, by now, you know that Kathy White was Jay's mistress who died mysteriously the year Beyonce got pregnant with Blue. And she died shortly after doing an interview about her relationship with Jay-Z. So the rumor that Jay-Z and Kathy were together was sparked after she and Claudia Jordan were spotted together at Tao nightclub in Las Vegas, sitting at a table with Jay-Z and Diddy in 2010. And Bey was not present. Apparently, allegedly, Jay-Z had been smashing Kathy behind Beyonce's back for longer than Jay and Beyonce had even been married. Now, since the affair was ongoing, it was only a matter of time before fans figured it out and tabloids started reaching out to Kathy for tea. And 2 weeks before she passed, Kathy was contacted by a major tabloid that was investigating the Jay-Z connection. She gave them little information to go on, but according to one of the sources, following her conversation with the tabloid, she called Jay and told him that she was going to go public with their affair for a price. Then, about 48 hours after the announcement that Beyonce was pregnant with Jay-Z's baby, Kathy suddenly passed under suspicious circumstances. And the cause of death? A brain aneurysm. But here's the thing, Kathy did not die from a brain aneurysm. According to an NYPD detective, Kathy's cause of death was uncertain, and the detective said that they had the autopsy and toxicology reports done to figure out what really happened to her. Here's what the detective said, quote, "A 911 call came in from an apartment on 130 West 19th Street in Manhattan. Ambulance came and took Kathy because she was sick. They took her to the Beth Israel Hospital, and that's where she died. It was too early to be speculating that an aneurysm took her. They will be doing an autopsy later today to check out her cause of death, but someone may have given Kathy a bad drug. So they'll do a toxicology, and we'll have to wait 2 weeks for that report." Tell me why the cause of death was never revealed and the case was swept under the rug. Well, it obviously had Jay-Z written all over it, and just like it's happening with Diddy, Jay-Z's crimes have started catching up with him. That is why he was allegedly meeting with a criminal lawyer. Also, guys, in case y'all missed it, Nicki Minaj has also entered the chat, and she just moved this entire drama up a notch. Okay, y'all have probably seen how she has been exposing Jay-Z and Tidal for scamming her and trying to silence her with $1 million. Onika was setting the record straight about her part in Jay-Z's sale of his music streaming service Tidal, claiming both he and Steve Stout are spreading lies. Now, there's been a little bit of back and forth, but now Nicki is saying that Jay-Z is pushing heat her way to try and keep people from talking about him and Diddy. Like, she literally wrote on X, "They got to keep the conversation on me so that no one asks about these charges against their BFF." I mean, it seems the 30-year-old T here is far from stale. Patterns, yet, sass, ugly, alien, Stout, etc., all talking about Onika. Why are they talking about Onika? In another tweet, Nicki also questioned if Steve and Jay-Z knew about what was going on in Hollywood and whether they participated, as she wrote, "Dear Short and Stout, DIK, Laffy Taffy Alien, DIK Breath, SAS, we want to know if you were present during bleep of teenagers and children. That's what we want to know. Stop. Aaliyah, Foxy, etc., during R. Kelly video shoots and stuff. Did you know about Kim Porter and Cassie? Y'all seem to always run in a sort of rat pack. So that's what we the people want you and your peeps to speak on. Ugly bald head bowling ball bitch. You ninjas don't have this energy for gangsters in person, only for bees on the internet. She also wrote in yet another tweet referencing her husband, worried about the tea of a 15-year-old child who was railroaded, but no comments on the tea and baby oil that's been going on for decades and as recent as months ago. If 15-year-olds need to be held accountable and told they can't ever move past their past, then what about the 30-year-olds sat by and was silent, etc.? Oh, right. Not the baby oil, Nikki. OMG. Hilarious. Damn. Onika is bold. The Barbs better protect her because Nikki is coming a little too close, y'all. A little too close. Anywho, when it comes to Jay-Z and Beyonce, people are insisting that it's been common knowledge throughout the whole entire music industry that Diddy was doing what he was doing, and Jay-Z and Beyonce definitely knew too. So they either chose to sacrifice basic morals for Diddy's money and influence, or they were somewhat involved in the schemes themselves. Followers are saying that at the very least, Beyonce could have distanced herself from Diddy, never been seen with him, or avoided his parties, but she didn't. Well, now we have reports claiming that Beyonce was actually in the tapes. And with everything going on, she's allegedly also gearing up to make her split from Jay-Z public. Who knows? Maybe this divorce may actually be the Pandora box we have all been waiting for when it comes to Jay-Z. Allegedly, this split has a lot to do with Diddy, but I guess we are just gonna have to wait for more details. Meanwhile, I would love to know your thoughts on a few things. Do you think Jay-Z will be caught up in Diddy's case? Do you believe Beyonce and Jay-Z were complicit in Diddy's crimes? And what are your thoughts on Jay-Z and Beyonce heading for a separation? Let me know. Lost Aaliyah, the princess of R&B, in that tragic plane crash. Yet her fans are still calling for her case to be reopened, especially with new evidence suggesting that her death might have been orchestrated by some major industry players. Anyone who remembers Aaliyah in her prime knows that she was in a league of her own. Aaliyah had it all. She could sing, dance, and act, plus she had the brains, beauty, and humility to match. But sadly, on August 25th, 2001, Aaliyah's life was tragically cut short at just 22 years old in a mysterious plane crash in the Bahamas.
Plane just after taking off for Florida in perfect weather suddenly plummeted to the ground. Investigators now saying one of the engines apparently failed. Along with 8 passengers, Aaliyah, a young Brooklyn native and a talented singer and actress.
So to give you some background, on August 21st, 2001, Aaliyah appeared on BET and revealed that she was about to start shooting the music video for Rock the Boat the very next day, with Hype Williams directing.
It's so good on the countdown, and we gotta know what the next video is, and I hope you say this is a song I love.
Yes, it's Rock the Boat.
Yes!
It's Rock the Boat.
Yeah! Now when can we expect that?
I shoot the video tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
And that video should be out, and we're hoping like beginning of September.
Okay.
So on August 22nd, Aaliyah flew to Miami, where Hype Williams had set up a green screen set to film dance routines and underwater shots. But for some unknown reason, Hype suddenly decided to move the entire production to the Bahamas. And on August 23rd, Aaliyah and the Virgin Records crew boarded a plane to the islands. Now here's the kicker. Hype never explained why he had this sudden change of heart. They had everything they needed in Miami. Top-notch green screen setups, beautiful beaches, the whole nine. Not only that, but Aaliyah's ex, Dame Dash, later revealed that Aaliyah did not want to go to the Bahamas because she was terrified of flying. But Hype apparently made her feel.
So she had to overcome a fear to get on that plane.
But that's not all. According to Dame, Lenny Kravitz, who has family in the Bahamas, offered Aaliyah his private jet. But Hype stepped in and took that offer away from her. And to this day, Hype still hasn't explained why he did that.
But what I was really more tight about was that I had heard that Lenny Kravitz had offered her a jet and that Hype had took the jet. So that's what really pissed me off about the situation when I heard about that. So you could ask Hype about that.
That's what I said. Have you ever talked to Hype about it?
Yeah.
And how did that conversation go?
Ask him.
But I also am asking you.
Yeah, but ask him.
But they're onto the plane without her consent. didn't want to fly. Now, if we entertain the idea that this tragedy was orchestrated, who had a motive to eliminate Aaliyah? Well, according to Jaguar Wright, both Jay-Z and Beyonce could have benefited significantly from Aaliyah's absence. Allegedly, Jay-Z might have been pulling the strings behind the scenes, possibly using Hype Williams to convince Aaliyah to board that fateful flight to the Bahamas. And let's not ignore the uncomfortable truth that Jay-Z was BFFs with R. Kelly, who committed unspeakable acts against young Aaliyah. R. Kelly's disgusting behavior wasn't exactly a secret in the music industry, but a lot of people, according to Jaguar, Jay-Z had his sights set on having the top R&B girl by his side. But Aaliyah wasn't interested and ended up dating Dame Dash instead. Jay's ego apparently couldn't handle the rejection, so he supposedly schemed against Dame and redirected his attention from Aaliyah to Beyonce.
Everybody that knows Sean Carter knows.
Punishment for choosing Dame over him and to elevate Beyonce.
It's time for Fatima Robinson to speak for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane, to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened.
But wait, there's more. Jaguar also brought up that Mary J. Blige interview where she called Aaliyah's death a spiritual. And according to Jaguar, all signs point to Jay-Z and Diddy.
Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone.
Now, as for Dame Dash, for years now, he's been publicly calling out Jay-Z for betraying him and conspiring with white record executives to destroy Rockefeller. And when it comes to Diddy, Dame recently commented on that horrific video of Diddy putting his hands on Cassie and said that if that was his daughter, he would delete Diddy on the spot. Yeah. Airplane crash or
Jay-Z. Queen Bee may not be seeing her husband. His cheating happened when he was out partying with Diddy on one of his nights out. He claimed that Jay-Z openly discussed his relationship challenges with Beyonce. The short documentary was released in conjunction with his album 444. Within the documentary, Jay-Z, who tied the knot with Beyonce in 2008, acknowledged that confronting potential issues in his relationship and striving to resolve them has been one of the most challenging things he has ever faced. Titled Footnotes for 444, the documentary includes discussions about relationships with women and interviews with celebrities such as Chris Rock, Will Smith, Kendrick Lamar, Chris Paul, Jesse Williams, Aziz Ansari, Mahershala Ali, and Meek Mill. This is my real life, he says. I just ran into this place and we built this big, beautiful mansion of a relationship that wasn't totally built on the 100% truth, and it starts cracking. He continued, then we had to get to a point of, okay, tear this down and let's start from the beginning. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. Diddy and Jay-Z abused 17-year-old on their private jet. Diddy and two of his associates were recently accused of sexual abuse in a lawsuit that was marked with a trigger warning. The 14-page complaint was filed by Jane Doe against Diddy, former Bad Boy president Harve Pierre, and Jay-Z in the Southern District of New York, with the plaintiff requesting a jury trial. Incredibly, it happens to be the fourth known suit since singer Cassie, Diddy's ex, accused him of physical and sexual abuse in a suit that was filed on November 16th, but settled the next day. Jane Doe, in the complaint, said that Diddy, Pierre, and Jay-Z and trafficked her back in 2003 when she was a 17-year-old high school junior. Jane Doe claimed that Pierre, who happens to also be a singer, was accompanied by Jay-Z and others as he approached her and her friends at a lounge in Detroit. According to the complaint, Pierre told the teenager that Diddy would love to meet her and encouraged her to fly with him on a private jet to New York City. While they were still at the lounge, Pierre allegedly took Jane Doe into the restroom where he forced heavy amounts of cocaine upon her and then forced her to have oral sex with him. Afterward, Pierre directed her to take a flight to Daddy's house recording studio in New York City, which Diddy owned. She claimed that while she was on the private jet, she was given copious amounts of drugs and alcohol, which in turn made her lose consciousness. As the night wore on, the 17-year-old Miss Doe became more and more inebriated, eventually to the point that she could not possibly have consented to having with anyone. Beyonce's sister confronts Jay-Z about freak-offs with Diddy. Jay-Z found himself in an elevator at the Standard Hotel in New York City, accompanied by his wife Beyonce and her sister Solange following a Met Gala after-party. Words were exchanged between Jay-Z and Solange, and in no time, it got physical. Jay-Z tried to defuse the situation and calm his sister-in-law, but his efforts to do so were in vain. Solange successfully delivered a few punches before a bodyguard attempted to restrain her, while Beyonce observed without saying a word or trying to stop her. The situation escalated to the point where the bodyguard halted the elevator to contain the altercation. In the midst of the scuffle, Solange even used her purse, hitting Jay-Z with it and causing its contents to spill out. As the elevator doors eventually parted, Jay-Z attempted to prevent any further attacks by grasping Solange's arm, but she persisted. Beyonce's sister seemed unfazed as she made her way to the hotel entrance with the Carters following closely behind. Solange and Beyonce entered one car while Jay-Z entered a separate vehicle. A week later, TMZ leaked footage of the family feud courtesy of a rogue security guard who was promptly terminated after an investigation. The altercation allegedly stemmed from Beyonce and Solange observing Jay-Z getting uncomfortably close to fashion designer Rachel Roy, who happened to be the woman with whom Jay-Z had an affair. The most important thing is that our family has worked through it, the Carters said in a joint statement that was issued the day after the video leaked. Jay and Solange each assumed their share of responsibility for what has occurred. They both acknowledge their role in this private matter that has played out in public. They both have apologized to each other, and we have moved forward as a united family. The statement further read, "At the end of the day, families have problems, and we're no different. We love each other, and above all, we are family. We've put this behind us and hope everyone else will do the same." Following the elevator incident, Beyonce astonished her fans by releasing her Lemonade album in 2016. Tracks like Hold Up and Sorry hinted at family issues, leading fans to scrutinize the identity of Becky with the good hair. After the album's release, Rachel Roy shared a photo on Instagram with the caption, "Good hair, don't care." This fueled speculation that she could be the person referenced as Becky on the album. Rachel Roy initially worked as an intern at Rocawear, the urban clothing line founded by Jay-Z and Damon Dash. She subsequently married Damon in 1998, only to divorce him in 2009. Wendy Williams on her show claimed that both Damon and Jay-Z frequently changed their girlfriends. Williams also asserted that Solange attacked Jay-Z in the Met Gala elevator.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City. Today, he's been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York.
Breaking news. Sean P. Diddy Combs has been arrested and indicted on federal charges. The disgraced music icon has faced startling allegations for months of rape, sexual assault, physical abuse, gun trafficking, and drug trafficking. On Monday evening, he was indicted by a grand jury in New York. He was taken into custody in Manhattan, where he's been for the last week in anticipation of these charges. Now, the charges haven't been made public just yet. In fact, the indictment was sealed. But according to the New York Times, a person familiar with the prosecution says they believe Diddy faces charges of racketeering and sex trafficking. Diddy's legal team said they were disappointed with the decision to prosecute, but mentioned their client has been cooperative with law enforcement. A statement from his legal team reads, quote, Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the Black community. He is an imperfect person, but is not criminal. To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. All this comes about 6 months after 2 of Diddy's homes were raided by federal investigators back in March. Then we couldn't confirm Diddy was the target of the Homeland Security raids or what information the feds collected. Most of what we know came from the 5 civil suits with a series of shocking allegations ranging from the 90s until now. Multiple people allege Diddy raped them, drugged them, and recorded all of that. We can't confirm it just yet, but it was likely those civil lawsuits that led up to the federal investigation and later Diddy's arrest. This is breaking news that is constantly developing, so stay with Law and Crime for all the latest updates.
You gotta be a unifier, you gotta be a leader. Don't be in there and be a fucking complainer. Who's leading? Because all I'm talking about is the way you get to championships. I don't know what else anybody else is talking about. And ain't nobody got more rings than me.
It's 2020, y'all. And it's different than when it was 2016. You know, the game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a Black billionaires lunch. You understand? Right. And we here together, and we're going to keep staying together. We getting tighter. You know what I'm saying? And united we stand. And ain't nothing else. To us. Black excellence. Right here.
You all remember when we said Diddy is fighting tooth and nail to make sure he doesn't go down alone? Well, it looks like his plans are finally succeeding because he just brought undeniable evidence of how Jay-Z allegedly unalived his mistress, Kathy White, to protect Beyonce. Allegedly, Kathy White got pregnant for Jay-Z and was threatening to do a tell-all interview about the affair around the same time Beyonce also announced that she was pregnant. And thinking of the absolute chaos Kathy's tell-all would be, Jay-Z made the obvious choice and decided to delete his mistress. Sources are now saying Diddy has strong evidence that can prove everything that went down, so Jay's days as a free man might be counted. Y'all better get comfy because we are about to break this down. So, there has been a lot of noise about how Diddy is planning to expose all his partners in crime from back in the day now that the lawsuits are getting more serious, and every day feels like one day closer to jail time. The latest update on Diddy supposedly ratting out everyone he has a history with is that he is exposing Jay-Z for unaliving his mistress, Kathy White, to protect Beyonce. If the name Kathy White does not sound familiar to you, it's because someone somewhere did a very good job of scrubbing her off the internet. And streets are saying that person is Jay-Z. For those of y'all that don't know who Kathy is, well, Kathy White, also known as Corey or Coriana, was a model and fitness expert who also ran her own PR firm, White Label PR. She used to hang around many celebrities, and she was actually close with a number of them, like Claudia Jordan and Jason Lee. In fact, Claudia Jordan, who has been described as a known homewrecker, used to join Kathy White in dating married married men, and by that I mean stinking rich married men. Kathy herself is known to have admitted that she's here for a good time, not a long time. Unless a man has a net worth of at least $50 million, she won't pay him any attention. So, you can see how Jay-Z must have been the perfect match for her, even though they supposedly started dating long before he and Beyonce tied the knot. Rumors about the alleged affair between Jay-Z and Kathy sparked after Kathy and her BFF Claudia White were spotted at a Las Vegas nightclub partying with Jay-Z and Diddy. In fact, Jay-Z allegedly bought Kathy a $25,000 pair of Louis Vuitton shoes to wear that evening. Sources also reported that Jay was very particular about keeping the relationship low-key, so he would do things like ask her to bring a couple of friends along for a ride so it wouldn't look like they were a thing, which is what he did that evening. While they were in Vegas, Jay also reportedly took Kathy on a trip to the Bellagio casino, asking her to bring a few friends to their table. It looks like Jay was really taking care of Kathy, so much so that her friend Claudia Jordan was reportedly jealous of how Kathy always seemed to pull all the wealthier ballers and how she had over $100,000 worth of bags and $200,000 worth of shoes and how she could just randomly buy her friend a $3,000 Louis Vuitton bag. So Jay was definitely doing right by Kathy. Well, until he started seeing her as a liability. And that's why it's interesting that in 2020, a blind item from Crazy Days and Nights said, "This A-list host model is also an actress. Our host has always stayed quiet about the death of her friend, but has become more convinced over the years that the permanent A-list rapper had her friend killed. It just seemed too convenient that he wanted her out of the picture, and shortly after he said that, the friend ended up dead." It was then revealed that the A-list host was Claudia Jordan, Kathy's friend, and the rapper was Jay-Z. Well, as the saying goes, all that happens in the dark will eventually come to light. It didn't take long for people to start putting two and two together and figuring out that Kathy was Jay's mistress. Naturally, they started reaching out to her for comments on the situation, and about 2 weeks before she passed away, a major tabloid that was investigating the Jay-Z connection allegedly reached out to her. But, and this next part is important, Kathy strongly denied all allegations of having an affair with Jay. I'm not even surprised, given the lengths Jay went to make sure things stayed under wraps. He must have really made it clear to her that the moment she breathed a word about the affair to the public, the gig was up. But either Kathy finally got tired of living a lie, or she figured that with a baby on the way, Jay-Z wouldn't dare leave her hanging. Either way, she decided it was finally time to tell her story, and she allegedly hit Jay up to tell him she was going public with the affair for a price. However, reports reaching us say that first responders to the scene felt her death was suspicious. Also, at the time the news of Kathy passing away from a brain aneurysm got out, it was still too early to know for sure that that's what really happened. Besides, Kathy was young, fit, and healthy before she passed on, so her just randomly dropping dead from a brain aneurysm was just highly unlikely. A detective from the NYPD had this to say about her death. A 911 call from an apartment 130 West 19th Street in Manhattan. An ambulance came and took Kathy because she was sick. They took her to the Beth Israel Hospital, and that's where she expired. It's too early to be speculating that an aneurysm offed her. They will be doing an autopsy later today to check out her cause of death, but someone might have given Kathy a bad drug, so they'll do a toxicology report, and we'll have to wait 2 weeks for that report. What's crazy is that the report never came through, and even though literally every detective and cop who worked on Kathy's case felt the circumstances were suspicious, her cause of death was still ruled as a brain aneurysm. Girl, it sounds like someone was out there pulling strings to get that whole thing covered up, and this brings us back to Jay-Z. Now check this out. Kathy passed away in early September of 2011. If y'all remember, this was also around the time that Beyonce announced her pregnancy with her and Jay's first child, Blue. The timing is definitely interesting, especially considering all the conspiracy theories we've heard about Beyonce not actually being pregnant at the time, but instead having a surrogate carry her baby. Tabloids at the time started speculating that Jay might have had Kathy deleted because he didn't want the fallout from whatever story she would have told the blogs to affect his marriage with Beyonce. One blog even wrote that Kathy's death has stirred up some unwanted attention for Jay-Z, with claims of a hidden love child in Trinidad and Tobago, and Illuminati theorists claiming her death was a sacrifice for the famous couple. What's even more interesting is that all the renewed attention on this case was started by someone who also believes Jay had something to do with Kathy's death, Liz Crokin. Liz wrote an extensive report about the whole thing where she talked about how she reached out to Kathy for an interview about Jay-Z. According to her, Kathy initially denied knowing or ever interacting with Jay-Z until she pulled up pictures showing her hanging out with Jay and Puffy. At this point, Kathy allegedly told Liz that she would consider doing a tell-all about the affair. Then all of a sudden, Liz couldn't get through to Kathy again, and when she finally got a hold of one of her friends, she was informed that Kathy was no more. Some of Liz Crokin's recent tweets about the situation actually brought new attention to the case. In one tweet, Liz said, "As I said in a tweet the other day to Jay-Z, I was the reporter who talked to your alleged mistress right before she died, was murdered. I know everything. I know what you did. So go F yourself, Jay-Z. There will be justice for Kathy White." What's also interesting is that it looks like Jason Lee might have been the one who originally spilled the tea about Kathy and Jay-Z's alleged affair, because Hollywood Street King reported that their sources got their information from him. Suddenly, it all starts making sense how Jason could literally try and blackmail Queen Bey in front of the whole world, would ruin Beyonce if it ever got out. As y'all know, a lot of the OG hip-hop guys ran in the same circles back then and did a lot of shady things together. Apparently, while they were out there painting the town red, Diddy was collecting audio and video recordings of all the shenanigans, both legal and illegal, and he's now ready to spill all the tea. In fact, some people are saying Diddy has already started speaking with authorities, and Jay-Z might need to start preparing for the day of reckoning. Jaguar Wright recently said Diddy has released footage of Jay-Z and Beyonce at some of Diddy's infamous freak-off sessions. Now, Diddy is allegedly set to reveal all the dirty details of how Jay-Z unalived his mistress to protect his wife. And Diddy is not the only celebrity who feels the same way, because Jaguar Wright once talked about how she believed Jay or Beyonce might have done the deed and then hired people to clean it up. Anyway, it seems like fans are happy that people are finally talking about Kathy White, and some have even compared it to Kim Porter's death. Yes, I've talked about this woman for years, and it got swept under the rug. Now the light is shining. It's odd that Kim Porter died under similar circumstances. I believe all of this and that Bey profited from Jay's misdeeds. You can't outrun karma. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section below. Then check out this next video.
You heard it right there. We broke it down, we package it up, ship it out accordingly. Will Jay-Z be indicted? Or will Beyonce be indicted? Will Diddy tell it? Or will Diddy don't say nothing? Will Diddy do the Diddy bop and beat the case? We will find out, but most definitely tune in. This is the channel where you want to tune in for all your Surviving P. Diddy content. We in the building. S.L.R. Media TV. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment to my YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that Cash App. Also, make sure you go support my second YouTube channel, S.L.R. Sports News TV. Will Diddy beat the case? Like, subscribe, share, comment to my YouTube channel. You know what to do. Subscribe. Diddy, the diddler,